Hi, my name is Liddy. One word I will use to describe myself before I knew Christ would be broken. Now, I was raised in a Christian home, and my parents were worked in the ministry, and I was a very obedient child. It came to the point where I knew Christ from my parents, but I didn't know Christ for myself. So I began searching for Christ when I was in high school. And at the age of 15, I got baptized, but I still began feeling empty. So I decided to take on roles in the church. And after all that, I still began feeling lost. And not only lost in Christ and knowing Christ, but lost in who I was. And I began having three different personas. I was one person at church, one person at school, and one person at work. And at the snap of a finger, I was just in modes, and I didn't even realize that I was in modes. And then I began seeking pleasure in other things because I didn't find fulfillment in my work within the ministry. And I found pleasure in things that ranged from work to school to guides, anything that made me feel better about myself. And at one point, freshman year, I was at my lowest point. I really didn't know who I was and where I stood in my faith. And it got to the point where I couldn't even look myself in the mirror because I did not know who I was. And one day I had went to church and I began to feel God's presence like no other. And at that moment, I began to feel restored and I began to feel whole. And God began to change me from the inside out. And I began to see God face to face. One word I would use to describe myself before I knew Christ would be broken. And the word I would use to describe myself after I knew Christ would be whole.